Hey there!
Hi, Jessie.
Kaari, finally!
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Hi from London.
Hello. It's so great to do this with you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. Ginger,
Uh, yeah,
cup of tea.
welcome. Exactly. Welcome, Jessie. Welcome to our little chat that we do with friends just to kind of check in and see how
Mhm.
you are and kind of learn a little bit about your world from home.
Nice.
Are you in the shop today?
I'm in the shop. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So let me introduce you. This is Jessie Chorley, who I think we probably met on through Instagram,
Yeah.
and then started communicating and talking. And I think about a year ago, we started working and planning your workshop.
Uh-huh. That's correct.
And Jessie is a master stitcher and designer, and I mean, basically you are a retailer, but you have a shop, a beautiful shop, but you
Uh-huh.
also
Correct.
do tutoring and teaching and quite a lot of workshops as well.
Mm. Yeah, that's all correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about how you're doing now and maybe even a little bit about how you got started.
Yeah. Well, hi from London, East London. It's very, very hot today. So
Is
I'm
it?
actually closed. I'm in my shop. So unlike many of us at the moment, I'm not at home, but I've been splitting my time sort of between home and my shop.
Uh-huh.
I have 15-ish minutes cycle from the shop where I
Oh,
live.
nice.
So
Nice.
I'm lucky that I can come down here. And because it's my own sort of little unit I have the big glass window which is just here, and then I can open my door a bit if I want a bit of air. But
Mm.
there's always someone still knocking and saying hello, which is nice. But
Because you're on a nice little street, right? Like a little
yeah,
shopping
and
street.
most of the other shops are closed at the moment. But
Okay.
there's two bakeries which have stayed open, so that's really really lovely.
Yeah.
So can kind of I've been super lucky. I feel blessed. I've still got my routine, and I've changed my shop quite a bit. So I've kind of just lots of my things I normally have displayed on the table, I've pushed it out of the way and sort of just
Mm.
put them in cases and put them away for a bit. And then I've got all my tools out really, and lots of things I haven't worked on for a long time. So I've actually really enjoyed having the time to
Right.
make and go through. Like all of us, we collect all these things, and sometimes it's hard to see what you've got. So
Exactly. So you've kind of enjoyed the time that we've been given to kind of
yeah.
create and come up with new ideas.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've been incredibly lucky as well with everyone, especially you guys in the US supporting me online. I've just finished
Great.
packing some orders now, so I was reopening my online shop anyway after I kind of gave it a big sort of overhaul, I guess. Because
Right.
like I said, I teach my workshops, I run my online shop, and I also run my shop here. So yeah, I've always got lots and lots of things on the go, and I guess I haven't really stopped since I graduated in 2005. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, so I think I wanted to stop and organise my online shop anyway. So it's brilliant. It's been brilliant doing that, and sort of, but yeah, now we've all been given this extra time, which
Exactly. Exactly. And how is it in London? Is it slowly reopening or are you still on pretty much full shutdown?
yeah, I've been chatting with some neighbours this week, and just now I was just chatting with a lovely Spanish lady who owns a restaurant just over the road, and
Mhm.
they're going to start. I think it's very hard for a lot of little cafes are open who
Mhm.
can have their doors open and just kind of serve from outside. But if you're more of a restaurant, then it's a bit harder. So
Mhm.
people are going to start opening a little bit in the next couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but a lot of the other shops have really, yeah, a lot of shops here, I think everyone's closed still. So
And
it's
where
not
are you?
knowing, isn't it?
Right.
It's not knowing. We're all
Mhm.
yeah. I'm busy making things and tucking them away for
Mm.
Christmas and doing housework in the shop and things like that. But I think
Right, right.
I
And
also a lot of other shop owners don't have an online shop, so I think yeah, it's
right, we're lucky that we've got both, at this
yeah,
time. It really helps,
yeah,
right?
definitely. I think it's yeah, I feel like my little lifestyle that I set up, I feel like it's worked very well during this crazy time. It's kind of
Right.
yeah, it's been horribly upsetting and sad, and I know a lot of people that have been attracted by it, but at the same time, I'm trying to, really focus on,
Yeah,
something.
definitely.
I've always kept things very small, and I like that sort of keeping things handmade. And
Right, right.
I feel like
And
it's
where are you in London, Jessie?
I'm in East London, so I am sort of between Bethnal Green and Shoreditch Station. So,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. You know, I lived in London for almost a year when I was, I think, like 19 or 20 maybe.
Okay.
And I went to college there for a year and I worked in the House of
Ooh,
Commons. And so I love London. I really, you
wow.
know, and then
And
I ended,
where did you go to college?
it was the London School of Economics and it was a
Okay.
program here, like through Northwestern. And
Okay.
so it was really almost like an internship. And so we
Hmm.
did schooling in the morning, and then in the afternoon we had to run down to the House of Commons, and I worked for an
Wow.
MP and his wife, and so, and then I ended up marrying someone that grew up in London.
Wow.
So yeah, so I feel a real kinship with,
Connection, yeah. And
yeah.
do you come over here often?
No, not often, because now
No.
we, you know, we tend to go to France and
Yeah.
maybe Spain because
Uh-huh.
John's Basque,
Okay.
and yeah, so we not very often, once in a great
Hmm.
while, but I miss it and I do
And
love
where
it.
did you live when you were in London?
South Kensington.
Okay. So other
Hmm.
side of town, yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
my good friend Christine lived in Hackney. So
Okay.
I ended up in Hackney on most
Yeah.
weekends over in
Yeah.
that
That's
area,
just
Islington.
here.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm right on the border, so literally a 5 minute walk this way, you're in Hackney. So
Right.
where my shop is Tower Hamlets, and then Hackney's just there. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, let's see some of the work you're doing and what you're
Yeah.
working on. And I know I've been watching you on Instagram that you're preparing for, is it your 15th
Yeah.
anniversary, 15th birthday?
Mhm.
And so you're going to release some special projects. And are they like stitch kits that you're releasing
Yeah, the
or
main thing,
samplers?
kind of, I've relaunched quite a few small kits this year, and then this one is going to be a larger. This is a larger sort of still life, I've called it. So this is the piece. I will hold it up so you can all
Yeah,
see.
perfect. Oh, that's great.
So kind of in my usual style, lots of embroidery, and then also combined with applique. So all
Mm-hmm.
of this is very, very intense sort of seed stitch
Sure,
here
sure.
built up. And then
Right.
I am now, this week, I'm really trying to work on the border. So
Uh-huh.
I've been gathering lots of little scraps, which I kind of tucked away in my big basket here when I designed this. And that's kind of the way I work. I like to sort of, it's very sunny, I'm not sure what you can see. So these are
Right.
all sort of old cottons, often bits of the back of curtains. I love things like that are quite discoloured.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
some beautiful bits of lace and some. That's actually a piece of a dress of my mum's with a tiny bit of floral. So not too much floral. I'm kind of concentrating on these very natural shades, and then I will sort of in a crazy patchwork style. I will applique them all around the edge, and they'll
Sure.
come into the design a little bit as well. And then when I've got them stitched on, I then go back and work back into them. So you can see there's a little clock here, but I've
Oh,
got a
sure.
sketchbook full of various things that are going to sort of go on there.
And will this pattern, is this the one of the patterns you're going to release?
Yeah, this is the
Okay.
main one.
This is
So
the main one.
it is pre-printed onto a panel,
Got
and
it.
then it comes with a little book. And when I finish this, it will be photographed, and then it will
Okay.
have instructions. So
Mm-hmm.
I work it myself. Kind of, I'm considering what colours and things as I go along, but I like to do it quite naturally, and I like to sort of. I always work with DMC embroidery flosses for these, so I sort of
Right.
choose, what colours I suggest for you to work on, and then eventually it becomes a kit. So my first thing I do is I illustrate it on a big piece of paper, and then I expose my illustration onto a silk screen, and then I
Mm-hmm.
silk screen them onto this is kind of a fine cotton, and then I work it kind of. I like to think over a year, but sometimes it's a bit shorter, kind of
Uh-huh.
6 to
Right.
8 months maybe.
Right.
And then this piece is quite personal to me. So a lot of my work, yeah, it can be sort of quite personal. And this piece, I've kind of gone back to lots of sketchbooks and looked at things I've done over the years to create a piece for this 15-year anniversary.
Right.
So this is, yeah, this will be a full kit, and it will come with little fabric scraps as well, and threads, and a little book, and the printed. And then alongside this, I'm also working on the largest piece of embroidery I've ever worked on alongside this, which is the piece you have also seen, the big grey piece.
Right.
So these two sort of go together. So this is kind of like a snippet of my bigger piece, if that makes sense.
Okay.
The other piece has I've started in October, and yeah, because I've been at home a lot, I've done a lot more than I thought actually, so it's nice.
Exactly. And so they'll both be 2 different kits that you'll then release?
No, the other piece is purely my artwork. So that's
right.
one piece. But it's got the main bits. So this teapot and things I've taken out of the larger piece, and then I've put them onto this design. So this is like a snippet which I'm going to pass on and pass out into the world for you guys to share with me, and make it into your own piece, really. And with this piece, I've left pieces empty on the illustration, so here, and here. And the idea there is for when someone started it, so you can put your own, like for example, if you were going to do it, you might have some treasured little memory or a little word or something. So these are here, these spaces are free for you to put your own idea in there.
Right, to add to it, to make it personal. Yeah,
that works so well with the friendship quilt, which is another project which has been going on for about 3 years now, and it was so nice to see people might put the name of a family member, or maybe they've just moved home or something like that, or all sorts of things.
And what are you teaching? Hopefully you'll be in Los Angeles next November, if all goes as planned. And what are the 3 different classes you'll be teaching at French General? Oh,
I've got them tucked away in the cupboard. I keep looking at them.
That's okay. That's okay.
I sent some bits to you, didn't I, Kaari? And then the other bits are here tucked away. Yeah, I think there was 3. So we can do the souvenir handkerchief, which was a little, it's vintage handkerchiefs, which I collect. And then I screen print a little design on that. So that was for the after our dig downtown. I think that was.
That's right. That's a shorter class. That's our Tuesday class, right?
So I was going to really concentrate on sort of. I use 5 favourite stitches, so I was going to sort of concentrate on that. A little bit of applique as well, but mainly back stitch, running stitch, couching. Couching is something I do a lot. Running. Yeah, what did I say? Running stitch and. Yeah, and then applique, we're using tiny little scraps of fabric, really.
Right. And
that's the hanky's really nice because you can just start and you can always carry that around with you.
Sure, it's a small enough project. That's great. Right.
And then so the other one, embroidered illustrations. So again, I've cut some little of my illustrations out of silk, and they've got a very fine bond web layering on them. So. And then you would have a panel of linen I was going to give everybody, and the idea was we were going to place some of my illustrations down, and then working with some of your fabrics as well there, sort of talk and have a little think about, again, trying to make the pieces quite personalised to each participant of the workshop, I guess.
Is that the Stitch Story, or is that the Stitch Story the other?
No, that's the Stitch Story.
That's the Stitch Story, right?
And then really concentrating again on the technique, so working with the threads. And I've stashed everything away here, hoping I'm still coming.
Right. Good.
And then the patchwork one was more based on the friendship quilt kit, which is. Do you want me to grab that?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Let's see
I just have to pop out here.
No problem. It's kind of fun, and then we can get an idea of what you'll be doing with us next November. So hello, everyone out there. If you have any questions for Jessie, please feel free to type them in, and if we can catch them, we'll be sure to ask her. Okay, so this
Okay,
is,
excuse the sun. I know it's super
I
bright
love it.
through the window. So this is very, very similar to the piece I've just shown you, but this piece is made up with 6 illustrations.
Okay.
And then I mean, the main inspiration for this is sort of, you know, the traditional technique of crazy patchwork, when you glue all these tiny little bits together. So this was the other workshop we were gonna
It's great.
do.
It's
So,
great.
using loads of little fragments, and again, I prepared some sort of pre-cut little templates to use on the day, but it's really just layering up tiny, tiny bits of fabric. And again, I use mainly a lot of the, I know it looks very busy, but a lot of these are very plain, and then I come back to them and work into them with my own stitches. And
Oh, they're really great, Jessie. Beautiful.
and that piece,
Beautiful.
yeah, it's just finished with a little piece of blanket on the back, you see. So.
Right, right. That's great. So I think,
Yeah.
let's see, the workshops are scheduled, I think it's like the first week or maybe the second week of November in 2020. And we're going to do four days of classes. And I think there's like a seat here and there still open. So if anybody's interested in
please come and join us.
Joining us, yes, you can sign up at FrenchGeneral.com. And then we'll also list under Say Craft, Jessie, we'll put your links to your website and any other workshops you might be teaching. Somebody wants to know if you are wearing a button necklace or what your necklace is.
A very, very old one, this one is, which has recently been fixed. I've had this for absolutely years, and occasionally I got it caught, that's the honest truth, on my bike when I was cycling.
Right,
so,
right.
I just had to fix the string recently. But yeah, this is like my, almost like my comfort necklace.
Oh, yeah.
I've
got that too.
Little sandstone horse, that's what that is. Which I got in Santa Fe when I was out in the States.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, I've got that little pink one, so yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I have some button bracelets, and I feel the same way when I travel or when I teach. I usually end up wearing them because it's just, if I get nervous or anything, I've got those buttons, you know, the nice old mother of pearl buttons.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's great. I love seeing your shop. I love seeing you in the shop. And maybe in closing, I would just love to hear how and why you started stitching. Like, how did it come into your life, and how did it become such a big part of who you are and what you do?
Yeah, the simplest thing for me to say is because of my mum, prematurely. So my mum, when I was 1.5, moved my family to North Wales, and she homeschooled me and my brother. And she's an embroidery artist prematurely. I'm sure many of you know her work.
Right.
So yeah, I've since I was tiny, I've always stitched with her. And I painted a lot painted and drawn, I guess, a lot when I was younger as well. And then I went on and did the same course that she did, fine art in Goldsmiths.
Okay.
In London. And yeah, kind of worked out my own sort of journey, my own way of how I want to stitch.
Right. But your mother and your work, they complement each other so nicely. I mean, like her work is very, like, you know, when you see her work, you know, when you see your work, and yet when you put them together, they really kind of fit together so nicely.
I guess because because she really nurtured me when I was young, and like even our handwriting thing is very, very similar. Our personalities, you could say, similarities, but also quite different. And I think the colours I use a lot lighter sort of colours than my friend.
Yeah.
She uses a lot of wools, like thin wools, and a lot of actual wool fabric to stitch onto.
Right. I get a more primitive feeling sometimes from hers, and yours I get a more I don't know if it's an English feeling, but a very, you know, my memories of like Laura Ashley, you know, all the beautiful colors of, you know,
maybe it's like a sort of paler in tones.
Right, the palette's just different. Yeah.
But I travel a lot, and I always think that's really it changed my style of work, because I love to travel and I pick up snippets from all over. Right. My mother, her life is very much more based around her home and her garden where she lives in North
Mm-hmm.
Wales, but I think
Interesting.
yeah. And the
Right.
palette of the countryside and the trees there is very, very yeah, it's North Wales, so it's very, very
Rich. Yeah.
rich. It's
Yeah.
different.
Well, I've loved learning a little bit more about you, Jessie, and your life and your shop. And I can't wait for you to get over here
Yeah.
so that we can
Everything is
have
ready. I'm packed, and let's cross fingers.
right. I've got all your kits safely stored away, so
Excellent.
we're all set. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all go well, and you'll be
And
here in November.
And the plan is to bring these pieces with me, so I will be bringing some of the original pieces
Oh, nice.
to share with
Nice.
you as well, yeah.
Oh, that'll be
On the
great.
day.
All right.
Super.
Well, thanks, Jessie. Thanks for checking in with us.